think it's afternoon now. So afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Showman the Money Rugby TV. We're at it today. I know we were actually going to bring a change of clothes, so it looks like a different day with rugby. But the budget doesn't stretch that long, so we're just literally, should we change caps? Should we change, just something different, so we look like we're in a different show. So apologise if you think, if you keep thinking these guys, but as I say, it's little things we're going to try in the show is to make it a bit more interesting in making smaller snippets. The full 80 will stay as it is, but the rest of it we're going to try and put some great content for you in different areas. So this one is simple. We've been asked that many comments. Sam, the producer, said the IMG review. We'll do a quick review. We haven't got our expert panel man, which is Mr. Gledel, who obviously is the number one in the country on it. But we'll give it a go. There's a meeting, guys. I think Jimmy. You say it, Jimmy. I think you said there's a meeting this week.
I think this week all the clubs are being informed of what IMG are suggesting, and they've got a couple of weeks to digest it before the big meeting on the 28th, where I believe it'll be decision time.
Wow, Joe. When we're saying decision time, what have we heard anything? I've got some input to put in. Have you heard anything?
No. So I'll give my opinion on whatever you guys have heard.
I think first and foremost, what we're finding in the Championship with this information, imminent and the meeting close, there's a few clubs who have put everything on ice. A lot have started early and then, with retentions and some making big moves, but then a lot of clubs say we're not doing anything until we know, because they're expecting it's going to be, as Mick likes to say, seismic news, and they're going to have to react to whatever decision is made and tailor their recruitment accordingly. They can't just go on as normal, because whatever is announced, they might have to change their strategy quite quickly if their survival might be on the line, or their chances of getting into one of the top two leagues or staying in one of the top two leagues needs...
I've been laughing because the players have been... I think as you're out of contract, I think players panic, don't they? Obviously, they want the future secured, and I think they've been panicking. I think we've all been telling them, lads, it's tough to say, but hold on, wait till the end of September, because big news is coming, and I guarantee it will all be done within a couple. I reckon the news will make transfers happen like that. So,
well, if it's good news,
if it's bad news, yeah, it could be.
The interesting one will be whether next year they've got enough time to play out what they want to do. So let's say, for instance, what I've heard yesterday is, let's say they're going to go 14 teams. Okay? So wow. Toulouse have come down, which I've heard they tried to keep Toulouse up there, but that didn't go down well. I think they wanted to say, just leave Toulouse up and we'll bring one up next year.
Yeah.
They're now saying it'll be two up next year, so you've heard it here first, two up next year. If it is true, that means that the championship will be all to play for.
Yeah.
I think they'll also say if there's going to be two leagues the year after, you've got to finish in the top 8 to apply for a licensing. I think if they do licensing, there shouldn't be promotion relegation, even if Sky want it, because licensing means development, and you can't be relegated if you're going to develop. It's the most stupid thing you've ever heard. So you either go licensing and cap it out for 3 years and let the clubs grow, let them grow in every area that they can improve the game, which is usually youth academy, obviously marketing, getting youngsters involved in our sport. The sport's going a lot of good ways. With the women's rugby, with the we're fantastic in every area now. But let it grow again. Get 3 years where we put everything into it. But if it does go 2 teams, the impact. And let's say there's no relegation, let's say they say next year, guys, no relegation. Straight away, all these people who are in the Super League won't be panicking. Because then the year after they could be ring fenced for 3 years, do you get me?
Yeah.
So if they say, but we're going to put 2 teams up. So next year, what will you play for? You'll play to win the grand final, you'll play to win the Challenge Cup.
Yeah.
But you're playing also, you can actually start that franchise now.
Yeah. Which
is fantastic. If you know your rugby, you know how it works. Imagine next year knowing you're not going to get relegated, and you can start putting youth development in every area. These coaches who are under pressure, not going to play, so they're going to go and try and play a different brand where the pressure comes up with the championship, because they'll all be looking for the golden egg. And if there's 2 to go up, I reckon it'll just go off. Because you've got Keighley, as you lads have rightly said, have already, they've done the done. You probably don't want to have done your dough by now. if they do go to up, I'd like to be sat there with all this money and looking at my investors and saying, we've only got 7 players signed, but we've got 20. I've got the World Cup to come. I can scout at the World Cup. I've got 23 players out of contract from Super League. Some are absolutely high quality. So I can actually get... So it could be a game changer of what's going to happen. It'll be interesting because who will gain from a 14-man Super League the year after? And then there'll be let's say the 12 teams in the Championships. This is what I think they're going to do because they don't want many to drop out. No. That's the bit. They're probably trying to save all the backlash on 6 or 8 clubs gone, extinct, not extinct, into the amateur game paper. So how do they do that? They make both leagues bigger.
Yeah.
You said it on 2 weeks ago, Jimmy. Why not? Who's ruling is that they can't have this many teams? Great point. It's ridiculous. So if they can get 14, and Sam Man needs to answer me this, or someone does, if we have 14 Super League the year after, and we have 12 in the Championships, how many clubs do we lose in all 3 leagues?
That would be 26 in total. And at the moment, did Mick say, I want to say 37, but I'll check. You keep talking, I'll check.
So that'd mean that we would have 26 full-time the year after. Because I'm surmising Super League B would be full-time. I think it has to be if they want to try and do what they're going to do. If it's part-time Super League B.
I think you'd be... The only thing is, I think with the fan bases at the moment, that'd be a tough ask for some teams, wouldn't it? Obviously, that's probably what
But they get the centralisation money that should be... So they get more money.
But how much more money is there to give?
Well, if you look at 14 teams, say there's the new Sky deal then, which I suppose will be up then, I can't see Saints and Leeds wanting less cap money, so that might not be. So they've got it. You're probably right. If they give 2 more teams the Super League money, where would the money come from?
You've got the League One, which have only been given, did we say 12, 15k?
So Super League B would be part of
up to 20, but
up to 20k. So you've got that added on, but that's not enough to make full time.
It's the same, isn't it? You're just reversing it because Champ's got 14 at the minute, so you just. He's got 12.
Wow, so what we're saying is we'd have 1 full team league and then we'd have 1 part-time league. That makes sense.
There is 37 clubs currently playing in total. So if it went to 14 in the top and 12 in the champ, you'd still have 11 in the unfunded 3rd tier. But,
11,
again, that doesn't scare me because you'd like to think that the structure works for me. If the beauty as a fan of having 14 teams in Super League is straight off the bat, other than upsetting a few of the big boys who will get less money, the way it's distributed, straight away you've got 26 games, no loop fixtures. You know, so you don't have to faff around with these loop fixtures, which are unfair, and I've not heard a single fan who likes them.
No, agree.
And then in the Championship, you've got 12 teams. If you come in the top 4 of a Championship, you can apply for a licence. And if you meet the criteria, Super League will then grow and become bigger. If you're in the unfunded 3rd tier and you have a great year, let's say Keighley this year, Keighley would knock on the door of a Championship and say, look, we've performed on the field, this is what we've got off the field, can we be allowed in the Championship? And they go, yeah, you're in. If you come second in you might knock on and they might be like, I'm afraid you've had a great year, but you're not ready. Go again. Try and get this sorted off the field. And then
that's what you get the 3 year for, I think. If they
once you've gone up, I'm on about how you actually get up. I think
from the non-fund,
from the Championship to the Super League, or the 2nd tier to the top tier, and from the 3rd tier to get into the Championship, you're gonna have to perform and then say, right, we've come top. We've done this, and this. Are we in? And they go, yeah, you've got a licence, you're in. And you're protected.
Well, one of the things they did last time is that you have to be... So in the 3 year period of when they put you in, they say, right, no promotion relegation. You've got to have won a league in that 3 year. That's one of your first criteria of getting a Super League franchise. If you're in Super League B, which let's just say, for instance, part-time, you want to go full-time, you have to, in that 3 year period, win a league, okay?
Yeah.
Number 2 will be the fan base.
Yeah.
Number 3 will be
stadia,
development of stadium and academy, and what I suppose we've said this for Newcastle, York,
expansions,
maybe Cornwall expansionists, so they'll mix all that into this thing.
Yeah.
I think it's the best move for everybody. And now I'm talking out loud. I just automatically thought it'd be full-time 2 leagues. No, it's no chance.
Yeah.
The Super League B has to be part-time.
Yeah.
But we've got more full-time players because if you think about it now, how many championship teams are full-time?
1.5.
1.5.
Well, officially, Newcastle and Leeds are 2, and then quite a few clubs have got hybrid systems.
Well, Newcastle are no longer, so there's only Lee who are full-time.
Yeah, but there was.
Yeah,
there was.
So
we've got 2.
Count Newcastle, Leeds, and then
so if you went part-time, there'll be X amount of players lose their full-time status, but you're gaining 2 in Super League.
Yeah.
So then players, we gain with the players. We probably get another 25 players into the system of full-time. So it wouldn't actually be that. This is for IMG, out you're listening to this, and the CEOs, because they're all, at these meetings, have quite a lot of chairmen and CEOs that confidentially they can't think, but they're also very good at asking advice, what you're thinking. So here's one for you is, if you went full-time and part-time, we've said before, historically, you've got the Sky deal, if it were ring-fenced with 14, you've then got Championship who can do their own deal with Channel 4 or whatever. You know, we can mix it up as they've done this year. I think it's fantastic. Even though I don't know if Channel 4 paid us out. I don't know how much Premier pay us out. I don't think they pay anything.
Not much at all.
So they've got to be able to go to them now and negotiate IMG and say, look at the figures we produced on Channel 4. Come on, get your money out. If you want us next year, get your money out. You've got to go to Premier. You know, the budget at Premier will probably be 3 commentators, the film. Let's just say it's £3,000, £4,000 and it's going out. But if they're not putting nothing back in, so no team are getting paid for anything we do on Premier, that's got to stop because we've delivered quite a good thing this year. They've actually had some good product, haven't they? So, you know, you're looking at that and saying, come on, give us something back. It's interesting. And I like the 14 teams. I think it makes sense.
If they're ready, if we've got them, and I think IMG have probably looked and gone, why have you got 12 teams when you've got Lee doing that? And now why are we going to lose to lose when they're ready? And the only answer, to my understanding after asking lots of people involved at coach, chairman level, is the top clubs have always been able to go, well, we're not spreading the money. We need more, not less. We're not willing to share the wealth. And IMG, we might have a solution to that. And there's nothing to stop. If Super League goes to 14 and Championship goes to 12 or Super League B goes to 12, again, there's nothing to stop York, Sheffield, anybody going, well, we're going to go full-time now so that when we come top and we apply for the licence, they go, yeah, these are ready, get them in. So we'll still, I think we could end up with 16 full-time teams.
Your nightmare is, listen, let's get this straight. The only reason the game operates is because of Sky.
Yeah.
That's it. We said this 2 years ago on the show, me and Mick. It operates because of one person. So when fans are stood there saying about Sky, there is no game without Sky. So Sky have to come to the table with IMG or this new CEO and say, this is the new deal which will determine now if more people or less people are using Sky or using other ways to watch the games, which needs to be stopped. Because once you take away that, now, one problem we've had when we negotiate at the top table is having other people to negotiate with. So hence, agents, you've got more chance of getting more money for your client if there's 5 clubs after you than there is just one. Because if you've got one, you're walking in with nothing in your pocket. You say, oh, well, I ain't got nothing else. So if they know that, you've got a weakened negotiation. Historically, we've only ever had Sky on the table for the last 10, 15 years. We've never brought anybody else. You're open. And this is the one big I've got for IMG. They must have more than one option because they've got to go there and drive this forward. They've got to get, BT took Rugby Union on. I don't think it's been a great success for BT. They paid a fortune. And it's been I think it's been an absolute calamity. Well, they might tell us different, but the figures we're hearing, it's not what they thought for the money they've paid. So would that put BT off? You look at the other channels, we've probably got how many online? We've got online.
You could go Danzen maybe.
Danzen have bought.
Danzen, Amazon Prime. Off my top of my head, it's Danzen, Amazon Prime, and then there's Hulu. I don't know if I don't think they're.
See, it's such a pity.
So you could grab one of them to maybe come to the table and say enter the English market because they're more American. A lot of these. If you went into the English market, take this sport on and make it a success, then you'll get these many subscribers from it. That'd be.
But you think as well, IMG just with their experience and their success, when they go to sit down with Sky, immediately Sky like, brilliant, you're going to help make this product where we want it, and probably put trust in. Wouldn't surprise me if, I don't know what, Sky might be at 24 mil at the moment or something like that. I can't remember exactly. But even with the current state, they go to them, look, this is what we're doing next year. This is what we're doing the year after. It's going to be bigger and better. So we want this much now. I think they'll get more money.
I remember hiring Robert Elston and the Brian Barwick. Oh yes, they've got great relationships with Sky. They've got great relationships at this, and they've got biggest white elephant the game's ever seen. The best relationship we've had with Sky when the gaffer, I think he's called Cyril. Sam might be able to tell me. He was there for 25 years. Neville, is it Neville Smith, or he was there. He actually loved rugby league, and he was in charge of the Sky distribution.
Right.
He now works. Neville and his company do a lot of the independent filming of the game, and they sell it to Sky or whatever at Catland. I think they get involved. But he was a massive advocate and a saviour of the game internally at Sky for us for 20 years
because he loved rugby league.
Absolutely loved it. He got mates with the Steve Owen Eddie, who
Boots and all, and that.
He was behind it. They were all this gang of people who wanted to revolutionise our game on Sky. When Barry and Terry came in and the rest, they'd speak so highly of him. There's no one had a bad word for him. Yeah. And it'd be great actually for the show one day to get him on and say, come on, give us the history of what actually happened and how it happened. Don't be pitching our ideas on other ones. But it'd be great because they reckon he'd have the keys to everything what happened. And he probably got the reason why he left at the end because the downpour was happening. Whether he got removed, they've got a lady in now. I don't know her name. We'd have to get Mick would know it all. But there's somebody else in now who's doing that job. But historically, it does help in negotiations if you've got a fan done it. You know.
Well, use our analogy. So there's no player in Super League with a boot deal except some of our lads. Puma. We get 15 lads, Puma boots, because the rep was a rugby league fan. Because there's not a single, this might be of interest to some, there's not a single sports manufacturer, anyone you'll have heard of anyway, who has a budget for rugby league. Rugby union, yes. Netball, yes. Cricket, yes. That's how hard it is for rugby league. And I feel it's a good analogy for when we go to Sky, bearing in mind that lots of other sports are going that way. Women's sport is growing massively. Women's football now to Sky is 1,000,000 times more important than rugby league. Whereas you go back 10, 15 years and rugby league was ahead of that. It was ahead of cricket. So IMG's hand is weaker because other sports are growing at a much quicker rate. And that's where we are. So they have got a real job.
Well, they have to bring the sporting brands in, don't they? That's what they have to do. You know, We've historically been, we had Nike, you know, they give one time, give boots out, Nike were fantastic, but then they went quiet on us.
Mizuno we had for
originally I did a deal for Danny, actually got paid, I hope you don't mind me saying this, I think it was £5,000 to wear Asics, which were massive at the time. You know, you look at that was 15, 16 years ago. He got you know, as much gear as he wanted, plus his 5K. We'd definitely gone down from that day. And we famously did the supermarket sweep at Nike stores, me and Dan, when we went, and we got the freebie for an hour to go and empty the bag. But listen, IMG are probably the biggest endorsements of bringing people in. I don't want to go 12 at top about them. We've done this before, it's not delivered. But, you know, IMG message to you from us all at the full 80 or Show Me Rugby League is, you know, make this call, stick by it. We don't mind more teams in the Super League. We don't, but give us a clear direction. If you are going to drop the hammer on the 28th, we'll be busy as people in the sport, because I would say for the next, and as Joe said at the start of the show, any players who are absolutely terrified about the future, and it is, you know, that's the thing people don't understand about agents. I get 15 texts yesterday, just non-stop emotion. Mary said to me, you look down this week. I said, yeah, because it's weighing on you. And the clubs are not wanting to make calls, and it's weighing on you, going back to the same thing to a player who thinks. And I'm going to give players a bollock in here a little bit. Sometimes they just listen to the mate in pub who's having a sandwich. Oh, so you're going to club yet? What, after what you've done? And they believe this load of crap by this guy who's telling them, you know, well, try and fit, you know, 50 players into 10 holes at the moment. That's what we're doing. Yeah. And as every other agent is.
5-1.
It's too hard at the moment. Now, this news could lift it, and it could be absolutely back on. So we'll leave you with that one. Hope you enjoyed that, and we'll have Mick Gledel to tell us next time.
2 weeks, it'll be
all good.
Already.